Hello and welcome, everyone. I don't know why we have a banner behind us. Welcome to Fallawsophy. I'm your host, Jennifer Fallaw, and today I am here with Karissa Turtle. She is a
Hello.
long Hello. She is a long-time friend, student, God-centered, divine feminine mama. And she has natural remedies that she has created that she would like to tell us about. I don't know why we have a banner in the back, but let's see if we can fix that. One moment. Which one? Which one do you like?
That one's pretty cool.
All right, that's my beacon of light. Okay. All right. Well, so tonight we're going to do things a little bit different. I'd like if everybody would hold off their rebel rants and their questions until after we are done talking to Karissa. So Karissa has created her own website. I have received some of her products. She's absolutely a genius. And so what I want to introduce her to you because I don't take on sponsors unless or put my seal of approval on anyone unless I absolutely know that they are the best people to send you to and their products are awesome. And I've tried them myself. So I've been waiting a long time for Karissa to be ready for this. And Karissa Turtle, everyone. Karissa, can you introduce yourself to the audience and give a little bit about your background, about who you are, and the road that led you to creating these products?
Sure. So as Jen said, I'm Karissa Turtle. I am a mom of 3 young kids. I have 9 chickens and a rooster. It was supposed to be 10 chickens. We ended up with a rooster. Don't ask me how. And a puppy, a dog, a partridge and pear tree, and I work a full-time job while doing this. Um, so I'm glutton for punishment, but who isn't, right? So this whole journey for me on holistic living started back in 2020. Y'all kind of know what happened then. A little bit about my background. So I've been in the medical field for 15 years. And what I do for a living, let's just say what they decided to do in 2020, I had the ability to look behind the scenes and see what was really going on and look at some information because I'm very much involved in that level of things. And Mama didn't like what she was seeing. So literally, I can tell you the exact night that it hit me. The night that they decided to release this and they put it on the news and it was great news. It was like God slapped me and said, whoa, take a 40,000 foot view, take everything that you know from the last, I think at that point was 10 years, and research before you just jump on the bandwagon. So I said, okay. So I started doing that. And this is before I met Jen. And that was the first time God slapped me. Like clearly I heard it clear as day. I even asked friends in the industry, like, what do you think? And they were all for it and bandwagon. I was like, I don't know. Something inside me is just saying, hold off, let's research this. And so I did. And then when I started finding a bunch of information, I literally hit my knees because I had 2 little ones and another one on the way. And I was like, what do I do? I've got my babies who are my world and I don't trust anything. So that led me on my journey of my husband, I kid you not, I research practically 24/7. If I have a free moment, I am researching information. I'm not watching TV. I'm on my phone, unfortunately, looking up things. And over the years, my kids, fortunately but unfortunately, have been the guinea pigs of things like, hey, Mama wants to try this now. I'm like, Mom, really? Another thing? I'm like, I need to see if it works. Is it going to keep you healthy? Because I don't approach things at the chase, dis-ease within the body. I approach it at, let's keep that from even happening if we can. Because then there's less that this mama has to do to try and keep you healthy. So that's how I got started. And since then, I've created a book on the ultimate guide to boosting your child's immune system, which is on my website, which is this. So I put a bunch of recipes in there that I use to boost my kids' immune system daily. And I talk about everything from pink eye to strep throat to stomach bug to UTIs. I mean, I haven't gotten everything in there just yet, but that was the start of it. And I was like, well, I'm looking for natural things. I wonder what other parents out there are looking for natural things for their kids. So this family, we don't take ibuprofen. We don't do Tylenol. I have found other pain relief remedies for the kiddos and myself. And then, so yeah, that's kind of how I got started and the journey I took. And I was like, I feel like God said, you need to share this. So I spent the last 5 years researching, and now he's like, it's time for you to share it. But I will tell you, I am God-centered. Our family is God-centered and spiritually centered. And I have a lot to thank for that for Jen, because she's the one who taught me that when you talk to God, he does talk back to you. Because before I met Jen, that didn't cross my mind. I was raised in the typical, church family. You can pray to God, but God doesn't answer you. Well, that's not true. And there's proof. I have proof of that. I have asked God for guidance many times, and he has shown me the answer. So anyone looking for how do I open that communication with God, you have to go to Jen to take her classes, because that's how I got started, and that is how I led my journey. So my channel does talk about spiritually centered family, and that without God, I can't do this, because he's the one that gives me the strength and the courage and lets me know when I need to say things and don't say things. So.
Because your background, I don't know if you'd like to talk about your background, but she is very knowledgeable about the ways of the world and why it's important to have natural remedies for your children. So you've started your own YouTube channel, and you're going to start doing shows. How often are you going to do shows to teach people about the remedies?
So what I do is I do videos. I haven't done live shows yet.
Okay.
I think once we get enough, at least subscribers, to I can take time out of my busy day.
Okay, we've got a little. Just
go do a show. I'll start to. Okay, can you hear me? We went black for a second there, but because of what I do, God knows that my ultimate goal is to get away from that. And ultimately, my goal is to raise my family and just teach other people, busy parents who work a full-time job. Because one thing you have to understand, to raise a family holistically, the people who homestead, that is their full-time job, right? So ideally, if you could homestead to where you grow everything yourself, make everything yourself, that's perfect. But unfortunately, I know a lot of people out there, they don't have the land or the time to be able to do that. So that's what I do. I come in and go, hey, I'm a working parent too. I have 3 kids who are involved in sports. We live the typical family life, but I still grow our food. So garden, which I try to teach people how to grow the most efficient way to grow the most prosperous garden you can. So as minimal work as possible. And that's what I'm all about. Finding mama's easy buttons. So I'm constantly evolving. Oh wait, now I have a new easy button that I don't have to do all of these steps, because I found a different one that does the exact same level or better for whatever I'm trying to achieve. So that's really what I'm about. I'm about being a working parent, but still trying to live as holistically as we can. Realizing that we are surrounded. We breathe it, we drink it, we eat it. I mean, toxins. It's unfortunate. That's the reality, but that's what my channel tries to show. Is yes, even though we are faced with these challenges, God has provided solutions. Something as simple as detoxing. So if you can detox on a daily basis, so a simple detox method, for example, is a castor oil compress. If you go to bed every night, put a castor oil compress over your liver, your body detoxes between the hours of 11 p.m. and 3 p.m. That's the time when your body says, okay, I got to flush. Well, if you put castor oil over your liver, which is our major detoxing organ, it makes it more efficient to do so. So it gets it through. So if you're not getting good night's sleep, then you're not detoxing all the way, which is over time that can add to it, right?
So
So
how would I do that? Like for me, I've got the castor oil, but like, what do I put it on? Do I, you know?
you can, I honestly, very easy. I just put it directly on the skin over the liver. And then I just take a rag so it doesn't get on your clothes or whatever. And then, like for my kids, we take an ace bandage, wrap it around, and you just sleep with it.
So
And that's
just like, how much castor oil should I put on the whole liver area there?
just, it doesn't have to be like slathering, like dripping, just enough, like on there. It's on there enough that you can tell it's on there. And then there's no like science to it. It's just really good. It's going to seep into your liver. And what castor oil does is it breaks down anything that's not natural, that your body's not supposed to have. So the great thing about castor oil, it will never break down things in your body that your body needs. It'll only break down things that's your body doesn't need, which is why it helps with detoxing so well. Because usually you're detoxing, getting rid of things your body doesn't need. So the castor oil breaks them down even better. So the liver can do that.
That's great. So like, what would happen if you put castor oil like on the bottom of your feet?
That would, it honestly, it's just going to be your feet are the biggest pores in your body. So castor oil will go wherever your body needs it. If you put it on the bottom of your feet, it's just going to be absorbed, and then it'll just go, oh, maybe you have like a spurt, a bone spurt. And over time, now keep in mind with holistic things, natural things, they don't solve problems like that. Your body didn't get to whatever state it's in a week or two. It's not going to heal itself as quickly in like a week or two. So I always say, if you're going to go the natural route, you have to be prepared to go 6 months to a year if you're looking, depending on what you're trying to resolve. Because a lot of people were so used to, I need it now, I need it now. Sometimes it's taken 6 months before I see, oh, okay, yep, it's working. It's just starting to show it now. And then depending on what it really is, it's a year. So castor oil, yeah, you can buy for you, go wherever you need it.
So what products do you have available now, or almost available now? What have you been working on?
So my book is one that has all the different recipes, and this is changing. So the way I do it is, I'll upload the new version. If you've already bought it, you get so many downloads. So I'll put out like an information like, hey, new version of the book has been updated, because I'll tweak it, make it better. Because this mom was also always looking for budget friendly, but without compromising health. So that's why things change for me as well. I'm like, oh, well, this is cheaper and it works just as well. So I'm not above that. But the other thing I made was my chapstick. So
Oh, it's amazing. I have it. She sent it to me and the book. Um, it's like the best one I've ever had. I like need more. No,
I
I'm
can tell
kidding.
you
I
the
still
secret.
what? No, don't tell the secret. Somebody else will
So
do
that
it. But like, it's awesome.
well, that one came about because I have one of my kiddos licks his lips so much, especially during winter, that he'll literally start to bleed above his lip.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I got to do something. And chapsticks weren't working. Also, a lot of chapsticks that we buy, even organic ones, they have petroleum in them. Like that, again, I try to go everything natural. Pretty much, if God didn't make it, probably shouldn't be eating it, putting on our body, even
Yeah,
smelling it.
because you eat it. You put it on your lips, and it ends up you eat
You
it.
do, you absorb
Everything you
it.
put on your lips.
So everything in my chapstick is completely natural. I can't officially call everything organic just because of USDA regulations, but pretty much the companies have said they're organic. We just can't make that claim because we don't want to go and pay for the for the testing and all that. But it's all natural, and it's a very deep penetrating chapstick because of the ingredients I put in there. I research everything I put on our body. So I don't sell a sunblock because then I'd have to be regulated by the FDA. But I have a recipe that you can easily make your own, and so that people, because my family, we don't buy sunblock anymore. I make it. I'm fair skinned. My youngest is like mama. We're white. We turn red, and it takes all summer long just to get barely even brown. So my other two have their dad's skin, a little jealous, olive. So they just tan like that. But still, that's the other thing. Um, I don't buy a lot of things. If I can make and it doesn't take too much time, that's what I do. So if I find something that's easy to make quickly, I share that on my channel and go, hey, make this if you want. Otherwise, here's a potentially a brand that I would be okay with if I didn't want to make my own. I try to always because I know not everybody has the time or the desire for that matter to want to make a lot of the things that they put on their body or in their body. So sunblock is something I make. And in fact, I now have friends asking me to make them the sunblock because a lot of sunblocks aren't working for their skin because they like have rosacea or something. I have rosacea, and our sunblock is one of the few sunblocks I wear that doesn't cause a flare up. And it's all natural. A lot of people don't know this, but every oil has an SPF. So every oil out there is an SPF. They're not high, but one that is fairly high is raspberry seed oil. And so is carrot seed oil. I am not saying just wear those and don't put anything else on because everybody's skin's different. The other thing that is a huge factor during the summer is if you wear sunglasses, because when you wear sunglasses, you're tricking your brain to thinking it's darker than it is. When the sun hits your eyes, it tells your body, sends a signal to your brain to increase the melanin in your skin, which is kind of our sun protectant, but also shrink the pores in our skin. So it doesn't absorb as much UV. So when you wear sunglasses, your brain's like, oh, it's darker outside. So it doesn't do all the prep. My husband is a perfect example that he always gets way more sunburn than we do. And that's because he can't get away from wearing sunglasses. To each their own. We wear hats. And me and the kids wear hats. And I also start exposing our skin because we live up north. So we don't have, we have the winters. So as soon as it hits 70 degrees, I start to expose our skin about 4 hours a day as much as I can to the sun. So as the sun intensifies, our skin is slowly already building that, okay, it's getting, more and more intense. So your brain's already getting your body ready for a more intense summer.
What was it? I guess I didn't really start wearing sunscreen until probably like late, like 89, 90s, high school. I remember we just would put a shirt on, get out of the pool, when I was growing up. But yeah, I'd say repeated. I was outside. I mean, we'd get the initial burn,
Right.
uh, when we'd first. But I lived in San Diego, so it was sunny all the time. But
Born and raised California.
so I'm the same way up here. As soon as I get the base tan, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
And if I go out into the sun and yeah, it's bright for a while, but my eyes adjust, and I don't always wear sunglasses.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's awesome. I mean, so what are some of the recipes that you have in this book?
A great one that's really simple, pink eye. So we know a lot of, especially younger kids, they get the pink eye. It's colloidal silver. I do 50 parts per million. I literally had my youngest when he was still a baby. So he was in that stage, I think he was toddler baby. So he was in that stage of sticking his hands on his nose or down his pants and then wiping his eyes. And they called me from daycare and said, you've got to come pick him up. He's got goopy eye, he's got pink eye. And I was like, okay. So I picked him up that day, took him home. I did a drop of the 50 parts per million of colloidal silver in his eyes. Everything was gone by the time he woke up in the morning. Brought him back. They said, wait, can we see him? Like, wow, that cleared up fast. I'm like, yes, it did. Can you go back now? And they're like, well, yeah, it's gone. I'm like, okay, thanks.
And you were talking to me once about, go on with what the other recipes are, but I want to hear about what you've come up with to, like remineralize the teeth or fix your teeth. Because I knew you were working on something like that.
Yeah, I have been working on, so I'm going to tell you, at least from my experience, what I have noticed. Remineralizing teeth is possible, but it's not easy. That is probably my one bane of existence, because you know how I am with my teeth, Jen. I'm like, please, Lord, just give me something for my teeth. And my kids are like, Mom, not again. It's really, yes, there are things out there. First of all, oil pulling is really important. So doing coconut oil, where you just swish it around your mouth for about 5 to 10 minutes. Try and get to 20 if you can, but a lot of people, you have to build up to that. That actually in itself can really keep your mouth clean. As far as remineralizing, so people have to understand what's exactly going on with your teeth. And I always say that first, like, why we have these issues. So our teeth are actually losing minerals from the inside out. And that's why you can look at your teeth and go, my teeth are fine, but yet you're telling me I have a cavity inside, right? Doctors kept telling me that over. I'm like, what? I'm doing everything. Why am I still having cavities? Well, it's the food we eat. So first of all, sugar. I'm not going to lie, not perfect. I still eat sugar. My kids still eat sugar. I wish we could get away from it. But I will tell you that in itself strips, not only does it build up the bacteria in your teeth that breaks down your calcium on your teeth, but sugar actually strips calcium from your teeth. So the things I've tried in the past, and I've seen them kind of work, it's things like the nanohydroxypeptide. So if you're against fluoride, which I am, I still use a tiny bit just because I have such sensitivity in my teeth. If I don't, my teeth actually hurt when I eat. But hydroxychloroquine peptide is actually found in Japan.
I think I actually just purchased on TikTok that toothpaste and have been using it.
Yes, it is kind of if you want to get rid of away from fluoride, that's what I would tell people, go with that. Also, using like a colloidal silver mouthwash, they actually make colloidal silver mouthwashes that have it in there. Just rinsing your mouth out, because that kills the bacteria. So if you're trying, if your teeth are, here's what I'd say: if your teeth are good shape and you don't have any issues with cavities and you don't want to use fluoride, that's what I would recommend, is the nano hydroxypeptide, and then the colloidal silver mouthwashes that they have. That, and then of course, whether you have good teeth or you're kind of trying to fix, the oil pulling is extremely important, because coconut oil pulls the toxins out of your gums, which also contributes to the internal creation of cavities. So if you're pulling the toxins out of your gums at least once a day, you're decreasing the chances that they will form. There are a lot of different things you can go out there and try. And so, and I'm going to be honest, like, I've tried them. Did they start to remineralize? Possibly, but unfortunately, I couldn't go much longer, so I did have to get my little cavities filled. My kids, I did see theirs. They started to actually remineralize a little bit, but I'm not going to lie, it's going to take watching what you eat. Like, you really have to pay attention to that. If you're looking like, okay, I don't want to ever go to the dentist, I just want to fix my own teeth. If anyone out there knows of something that, no, this works and it will remain, please tell me, because I am open. I am open to that, because I do not want to use fluoride.
I think it's probably hard to fill in a hole if you've already got a cavity,
Right.
But to keep it at bay and
Keep it
not
at bay,
at,
that's what I recommend.
I have like receding gums.
Coconut oil will actually get rid of that. Since I started doing pulling, they have no numbers show up on my gum checks. They're like, really? Gums look good. I'm like, great. So oil pulling. My mom, I'll give you a story. My mom went to the dentist. Periodontal, they already said she was on the verge. She had like 7th, 8th. Periodontal, she calls me. And I'm like, all right. Because you have to go to the periodontal specialist like in a month. If you're at that stage, oil pull 2 to 3 minutes, black cumin seed oil. Organic black cumin seed oil, okay, every day. She went to the black cumin seed oil. Yeah, it's not great tasting. I'm not gonna lie, But my mom did that. When she went to see the periodontal specialist, he rechecked her gums and said, "You're fine. They're they're back down to." He's like, "You don't need any work done now." So that
Really?
is for people who are on like the brink of needing to go through that special treatment. For me, I just oil coconut oil once a day.
So it's basically just rinsing with it, just rinsing for like 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, so if people don't know what oil pulling is.
Right. So that's for the black cumin. You could do black cumin seed oil every day. I don't like the taste of it, so I just prefer to do up to 20 minutes for coconut oil. I'm sitting there researching on my phone. I just sit there and swish. And then before I go to bed, and oh yeah, do not spit coconut oil in the sink. You will clog your drains. So you have to either spit it outside or get a cup or something or spit it in the trash.
Okay,
So,
good to know.
yeah.
Yeah, because I totally would have spit it in the sink.
Naturally, right?
I was going to ask you something else. So oil pulling. Huh. I forgot. What other recipes do you have that you could share?
Strep. So since I've done this, we do not do antibiotics in this family. So if you have a bacterial issue, most likely you can resolve it with black cumin seed oil, oregano oil, garlic oil. Just depends on, how much of a hard hitter you want. So the way I'd rank them, garlic is probably the weakest, oregano oil is the next, and then black cumin seed oil is the strongest. Black cumin seed oil is stronger than any antibiotic that you'll be given at the doctors. My husband, he got a couple years ago. Everyone thought he had pneumonia, and they kept saying you have pneumonia, and I was like, no, you don't. You have just crud in your throat. So what pneumonia really is, it's mucus buildup. So you've breathed in some kind of bacteria that your body doesn't want, so it forms mucus to block it from spreading. That's how our body keeps things from spreading. So when you get sinusitis up here, you breathe something in that your body's like, whoa, 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 we can't have this. Keep it from going further. So you get the mucus up here, then you get the infection because then it just keeps growing, right? It stopped it from going further, but your body hasn't stopped it from growing. So in his instance, he had a really bad cough and everything. He went to the doctor. They took an x-ray. They said, no, he didn't have pneumonia. So they gave him antibiotics. I was like, okay. Then nothing happened. A week went by, no improvement. Went back again. Then they took like a x-ray. Oh, yep, you've got pneumonia. Gave him another set of antibiotics. Nothing happened. He's still no improvement. And I was like, you ready to try what I have? So I gave him the black cumin seed oil. I also boost the immune system. Understand, I'm all about boosting the immune system. That is my number one thing. So giving your body the right building blocks to fix itself is important, because if you don't, your body will struggle and take longer to fix itself. So I boosted his immune system. I gave him the black cumin seed oil, but I also had him nebulize, switching back and forth between colloidal silver, 10 parts per million colloidal silver in the nebulizer, and just 7% hypertonic saline, which is typically what you get with a nebulizer. Within 2 days, he was already coughing everything up and everything was going away.
Good job.
So it's just, you got to trust yourself, trust your instincts, trust that you know more what's better for your body and for your children than, let's say, the medical industry. Because they
Did
don't
you
know.
come up with a cough syrup for the kids or something, an immunity drink or something?
Yes. So in my book, I have their daily immune boost, which I will be updating. So we are now down to only taking, so we do morning complete. That's what this is. This is a gut, full-blown gut health. And this is why it's important. Your gut is considered your second brain. Why? Because that's where everything's absorbed, whether it be minerals, nutrients, toxins. That's where it's absorbed and it goes to the rest of your body. So if your gut's not working well, you're not getting the nutrients that your body needs to function at its optimal level. So this Morning Complete has a probiotic, prebiotic, which we need to keep the bacteria at the right level, the good bacteria at the right level, and the bad bacteria, it keeps it down and at bay. Okay. Then it has super greens. So keeping everything flowing, right? You don't want food sitting in your gut. It's just fermenting, and that's just what can cause irritable bowel syndrome, things like that. You want it moving, so that helps keeps things moving. The other thing that we take is fulvic humic acid. You only had two things to take in your every day, these would be the two things. This is the one I use, which is Alpha Bios. There is a more cost-effective one out there. I haven't tried it yet. I have a friend that's using it, and she says it's working pretty well. So when I run out of my stock on the Alpha Bios one, I'm going to try that one and kind of give a review and say, okay, yep, I see it working. What is fulvic humic acid? Fulvic humic acid is, easy layman's terms, dirt. So
It's
our
what?
great grandparents, yeah, pretty much.
What is it?
It's dirt, like basically, and it looks like dirt when you pour it in your drink. It doesn't taste like dirt. Okay, you can't taste it. But here's why. The one I take has 70 plus 70 plus trace minerals. Our body needs 90 trace minerals to function on a daily basis. Our great grandparents used to get those from the fruits and vegetables because they would take them up from the soil, and then they'd be in the fruits and vegetables, which is why our great grandparents were not taking vitamins. We're not taking any supplements because they didn't need to. When you give your body the trace minerals that it needs, it will build the vitamins out of those trace minerals that it needs. So when you keep your gut healthy, the fulvic humic acid is allowed to be absorbed, and then it goes working throughout your body to fix and to give you the vitamins. So my kids do not take multivitamins. This is what they take. That is I will be updating my book to only do this. I used to do like chlorella and spirulina and all this stuff, but the Morning Complete takes care of that. I used to do a bunch of vitamin C, vitamin D. Well, it's summer, so I'll let you know if we're going to do vitamin D with K. It has to be with K2. Do not take vitamin D by itself because K2 tells the calcium and vitamin D where to go. So if you don't take a vitamin D supplement with K2, you end up with things like cataracts. Why? Because K2 directs the calcium where to go in your body. If it's not being directed, it settles in soft tissue, which is your eyes, your muscles. That's why it's important to take
Well,
them with
I
K2.
am doing everything wrong. Just like, I have a lot of things to get. So what is that Morning Complete? Where do you get that? Is that your product or someone else's?
No, I'm actually not even affiliated to this. I just tell people. It's just called Activated You. It's on. Let's see. I know the sun is like coming down now. Give me 1 second, John. I'm gonna go shut my shade because the sun
Okay.
is.
Well, I have a lot of things to buy, and I have been taking vitamin D wrong. You know what? I've always like, rather than multivitamins, I always prefer to get like my vitamin C from just eating an orange, or when I grew up, I would just we ate off the trees in the garden. I never had a problem with like muscle tension until probably moved out of my parents' house, because we always had a garden. We always had plenty of citrus, avocados, and a garden in the yard. Lots of vegetables. So that makes sense. It makes
Right, and
sense.
that's why I try to grow as much as I can during the summer because then I preserve as much of our vegetables as I can. So I have a freeze dryer, so I'll do it that way, or I just throw them into the freezer. So that's the other thing I try and teach on my channel. Like if you have, let me tell you a story. I used to tell people plants come to my house for hospice care. That was the truth. I did not. I was on a green thumb. And when I woke up in 2020 and realized it wasn't just over the counter stuff they were taking, it was in our food, it was even in, potentially produce if you're not paying attention to what you're buying. I did a 180 on my husband. My husband's like, who are you? Like, you didn't even care about recycling. You didn't care about any of this stuff. And I didn't. And then I just woke up. So now I found an efficient way to garden and how to get the biggest, best tomatoes, cucumbers. I haven't been successful on fruit yet. but I'm not giving up. I haven't spent as much time on that as I want. But I mean, we have more vegetables than we know what to do with. And then, of course, we have the chicken. So we also have our own eggs. And just that alone, I've seen an improvement in my kids' taste buds. And it just, that in itself really just um, helps your family. But I get it. People don't have green thumbs. I didn't have one. But when you get a garden and you're able to do it efficiently, so I actually make my own dirt.
Of
It's
course
not
you do.
that hard.
I don't do any of that. I'm totally behind. I am so behind. Well, you know what? I try to grow things, and then the damn deer come in and eat everything, and I'm so upset. I
Oh,
get all upset,
the
and
rabbit
so I can
here.
like grow things on pots on the upper deck. But
Oh,
then the dogs come along. If this pot's not high
okay. Then
enough, they want to piss
I'll
on
give
it.
you
So
a
I'm just
simple
totally
recipe.
frustrated. Just buy organic.
Well, if you're gonna do pots, I can give you. It's making your own dirt's actually not that hard. It's
I
pretty
said
easy,
grow
and the
things
reason
in pots, not that I'm trying to grow pot on the tech. Did I say that? That
no,
is not
I
what I
said
meant.
grow
Oh my
things in
god.
pots. Sorry if I made it sound like no. I mean, hey, we can always
It's
try
been
it.
a long day,
I've heard that
lady.
that's
All
going
right.
to be good for the body.
God.
um, but yeah, so slowly but surely, everything. So I focused a lot on the kids. So that was what these last couple years were. This last 6 months or so, I'm focusing more on mama. Okay. I'm in my 40s now, which means I'm going to get to hit that wonderful stage that we all
Yeah,
love.
wait till you hit menopause. You're going to go insane
Okay,
trying
wait.
to find remedies for
Okay,
that.
let me tell you something, Jen. So uh, I'm going to talk a little bit about. So I know people heard Mike talk about LifeWave. So my friend actually, it wasn't Mike who introduced me. My friend introduced me to LifeWave. I didn't jump on it. I was like, because I'm a person, I have to research, I have to understand it. And I'll tell you the weekend that God said, you need to try this. Okay. I always try things first. I don't recommend things unless I've tried them, just like Jen. I've got to try them. I've got to understand them. I got to be able to break it down so people understand what is it doing inside your body. If someone says it just works, I'd be like, no, tell me how. What is it doing in my body? Why does it work in my body? So the week before I decided to jump on this, I had a family member not argue with me, but kind of debate me on the benefits of the sun. Because it was my daughter's birthday. She was given sunglasses for her birthday, and my daughter politely said, "I'm sorry, we're not allowed to wear these." And the person who got them looked at me and was like, "What?" And I was like, I don't want her getting sunburned, and she needs the benefits. And then we got into a whole conversation of cataracts, and then I had to research, and I was like, well, no, cataracts actually come from the misplacement of minerals, calcium, which if you're not taking the right things for your body, you're going to have that buildup. Which, by the way, castor oil over time can break up cataracts. If you just wipe it over your eyelid at night when you sleep, people have seen. I have not had the experience, so I can't say personally, but people have seen their cataracts go away. Again, wasn't overnight. Could have taken a year. But going to sleep, just rubbing some over your eyelid, it seeps through, it goes in there, breaks up what your eye does not need, and then it eventually dissipates. But anyway, we were having this conversation, and I was just like, this doesn't make sense. Why is everyone always like demonizing the sun? It doesn't make sense. Why would God put the most powerful source of energy that we cannot escape on this earth and say, it sucks, but good luck. I hope you survive.
To make people sick so that they can be on every medication and they can all sell it. I mean, I grew up in the sun. We were outside all the time. My mother, when we got a cold, would give us an orange and say, go sit outside in the sun.
Yes.
Better. I mean, just like miraculous. And Katie recently, Katie has been kind of depressed. She kind of, she's 22. So, and just been indoors and working indoors and everything. And I said, let's go out, before the dog got sprayed by a skunk. I said, let's go down and get in the sun. Let's go tan outside because we have this little tanning pool. So we're out there in the water and we're like, this is nice. This is nice. We were out there for hours. And then the next day we're out there washing the dog obsessively with everything we can think of. And the day after that, she comes in, and usually she's moping. She's just like, I hate my life and everything. I'm like, well, I've done everything I could possibly ever do to make you happy, so that's really depressing. Um, she comes up and she's like happy. I know, God, children. Anyway, so she's finally happy. And she goes, I think the sun is helping me. And I've been telling her that forever. Get out. Let's go sit out in the sun for an hour. Go sit out in the sun for an hour. Go sit out. Now she's like, I'm going to get out there for a couple hours every day if I can, or maybe get up, just for my lunch. I'm going to go get out in the sun and soak it up. And I'm like, good, good. Take your freaking iron pills too, because she tends to be anemic. And I can't get the kid to take a multiple vitamin or anything that she's supposed to take, like, ever. So now maybe this will push her into a different direction, understanding that, my mom used to tell us that God put everything that we would ever need on this earth. There is no reason why you would need some kind of synthetic. But of course, she never really embraced it at home.
Absolutely.
But that's how we fix things. I'd get sick once a year as a kid. Never on antibiotics. I lived on tangerines and apricots and green beans out of the garden and just dinner. And we were pretty much feral, but yeah.
You were helping.
And
so that's the thing. When the sun hits you, it does a couple of things. It turns on your ATP, which is your energy level. It turns on your mitochondria, which is the battery to every cell. Okay. So let me explain, and this is why it's interesting might happen at the same time. Because I was really researching, okay, what are all the benefits of the sun? Like, why does everybody say the sun is horrible when it does all these great things for you? Well, it just so happens, and I'm trying to find them. That's glutathione. Hold on. So the X39 patch that Mike has talked about, let me break it down to people what it is. Okay. It took me 4 months before I even tried it because I had to research it. They're organic crystals. So this gentleman figured out organic crystals, and we put off an infrared heat 24/7. It's the same infrared heat that the sun puts at our body when it touches our body. Okay. Those crystals turn and reflect that heat back into your body, and it sends a signal to your brain to turn on a specific copper peptide, which LifeWave can't make these claims because they haven't gone this far in the studies yet, but it turns back on your stem cells. Pretty much. That's what I get from when I'm doing the research in PubMed. So there's hundreds, so it's called phototherapy. There are hundreds of articles in PubMed about the benefits of phototherapy. I'll give you an example. When a baby has jaundice, they put it under a blue light, right? The blue light's not actually having their liver processing against the proteins that's not being processed correctly. It sends a certain signal. That wavelength sends a signal to the brain to tell the liver, hey, start processing those proteins. Same exact concept. Okay? Difference is it's using our own infrared wavelength that we put off. So if you put on night vision goggles, you'll see that infrared wavelength. That's the visible light that we put off 24/7. So instead of spending we can't spend 12 hours out in the sun because unfortunately, while the sun puts off all these amazing wavelengths, there's also some wavelengths that too much of it can cause some damage. Okay, that's why we can't sit. But these patches, you wear them 12 hours and you're essentially out in the sun. That's the simplest way I can break it down. And I can tell you, so I've been on them for I think we're 3 months now. I'm heading towards my 3 months, and I'll tell you what I've seen. I've seen improvement in my sleep. I can remember a dream every night, at least one dream every night. My energy, that was the first thing, was through the roof. Being a mama of 3, I was like, woohoo! Let's get stuff done. Let's clean out the basement. Let's go outside and play. My kids are like, oh, Mom.
That's not fun, Mom. We don't want to clean out the basement. I know that they hate me for that.
Like, take their pants
Let's do this project.
Yay. We're tired. That, and then my skin. I noticed my skin, so my wrinkles were starting to be less. But here's the best thing I've noticed for us women. I don't even know when my cycle is going to start until it does. I have absolutely no symptoms whatsoever. And that's because it balances your hormones. And that's what it does.
Sun or what does?
The patch does.
All right, I got to get some patches for Katie.
Um,
I put it off because I'm like, nah, I'm like that with everything. Nope. Weird. Not gonna do it. I have all this stuff. I have black seed oil. I have castor oil. I have every essential oil you can think of. I'm big on the essential oil stuff, but never tried it. Supplements, got sea moss, got all kinds of stuff, and I'm thinking, well, what if I have some
so
kind of
these
medical
patches,
to that?
Yep.
So I won't do it. But that would, Katie tends to run
Well,
anemic.
then you'll not do it again.
Huh? What'd you say?
So you'll never do it again. If you have a reaction, like, well, let's not do that again.
It's hard with her though, because she has this anxiety, and she's always just been kind of a fit thrower. I mean, she was born having an anxiety attack. She's just been the one to throw a fit and cry like for too long. But when she's happy, But we found out that she's anemic when she went to give blood at school, and they said, "You're too anemic to give blood." And I'm like, "Oh my god!" Like, because she's on the Brent diet for her entire life. I mean, she won't eat meat at all.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So maybe I should get her those. The only thing she's allergic to that I'm aware of is dextromethorphan and lavender. Breaks out from lavender, so it's really hard to find her natural products that don't have lavender in them for like anxiety or anything like that.
Well, I can give you two options for Katie. The patches are Mama's easy button. Okay, this is slap the patch on. See you in 12 hours to rip it off. I'll give you one tomorrow. That was my mom. That's one of the other reasons. I'm like, oh my gosh, all I gotta do is actually this is an easy husband button. Okay, he won't take care of himself unless I do it. All I gotta do is put a sticker on him.
Yes. They don't. Husbands don't take care of themselves. They don't.
So that's what I do. Slap it on him. My kids, because they're so little, they don't need this one because this is the full body. Okay, this is like everything, whatever is going on in your body. Now, caveat, I will tell you this. If you are not paying attention to what you're putting in your body, they will work, but it's going to take longer. It's not going to be as impactful. Why? Because it needs the building blocks to fix itself. So if you're not giving your body the building blocks, it's going to be going, okay, I'm going to fix you, but I don't have everything I need to fix you. So it does work. And I actually saw this because I started them in May, and I was really like, okay, I'm going to take my everyday immune boost. And actually over the months, we decreased what we put in. That's why we're down to just the Fulvic and the Morning Complete.
Yeah. Which patch are you getting?
I do X39 for myself. Okay. And Derek, that's what I do because that's the whole body. That's the one that it's the more expensive one, but it's the whole body one. Okay. Mm-hmm. They have other ones. So honestly, anyone who's considering it, thinking about it, look at all their patches. They say start with X39 because it is a whole body and you don't really know what in your body needs repairing. So it kind of just hits it all. Again, it's a natural thing. So it's not going to happen in 2 days, 3 days. It's going to take a while. And depending on, like Mike has said, and it's true, for every decade you've been alive, you probably should at least give it that many months. My dad had shoulder surgery. And he has bad knees, bad back, hurting neck. He put this patch on. I finally got to do it. He put it on about 3 days after his surgery. He went from taking 1,600 milligrams a day of ibuprofen. He's down to 2 pills a day, so 400.
So can you still take your regular supplements or the other things that you recommended there when you're on those?
You can. Yep, you can, but I can tell you this, over time, you're not going to need them. You're going to start finding yourself saving money. That's why I said Mama's easy button and helping me save money. Do you know how many supplements I don't buy right now?
And you don't sell those either, do you?
Because.
Wait, you're frozen. Hang on a second.
I don't need it for me, but for the kids, I actually find one patch. So my thing is, I am brand partner, but that's not how they work. I'm selling it. It's, yes, you can buy it through me or Mike. You can buy it through me, or you have to go through somebody because they want someone to explain it to people. You can't put these on the shelf because nobody would understand them. You need to be able to have someone who explains how do they work. And so you can go neat. It's just that they don't like on like a website.
Okay. You're breaking up. Is your internet cord plugged?
They have a glutathione. What?
Well, you were breaking up through that entire session there.
I think you're frozen, Jen. Or was I?
Am I frozen, or is it you?
What do I need for people?
Well, you're gonna want it when you do.
Did you say everything?
What? I'm totally confused right now because everything's breaking up on your end for me.
I know. We're off. Okay, I think. Okay, what do you want me to talk about?
I want you to talk about your things, your recipes, and then we're gonna get. I think let's go to questions from the audience. We know that we can watch videos that Karissa has uploaded to her channel on YouTube to learn how to make these things. We can get the book on her website, which is here, if you'd like to write that down. But I'd like to go to some questions because I saw some questions from the audience here. If I can read them. Somebody was asking about how he says he has high calcium levels in the blood, which created my kidney stone. So is K2 by itself available and something I can take to get the calcium levels controlled?
Yes. So there is K2 out there just by itself. What I would want to also figure out is, are you taking a supplement, like a D supplement without K2? Because then, yes, find a calcium, just a K2 one that you can pair with your D vitamin, your D3, typically is what it is. Take them together at the same time. Also, take magnesium, because magnesium helps the absorption rate of those. So they all kind of work in tandem.
Okay. I take magnesium citrate because I feel like I've taken the other kinds and it really doesn't work for the muscle tension I get in the back and my neck. And I get a lot of that. I mean, I have since I was 21 years old. Coincidentally, that is when I moved away from the garden at home and started eating regular, living in an apartment and started eating regular food. That's interesting.
So yes, magnesium, lack of magnesium, people don't realize a lot of muscle issues is lack of magnesium, because the way the body works, and this is why calcium also becomes an issue. Calcium goes into the muscle, causes the muscle to contract. Magnesium goes in the muscle and causes it to relax. The number one deficiency in people is magnesium. And you need to make sure you get a bioavailable one, because not every magnesium can be absorbed by the body. So like magnesium glycinate is actually one that, and I'm actually I actually took one. So this is one that I ordered, but I'm actually going to be trying a new one because I tried one on Saturday. I had a whole head headache and I was at a pool party, and I don't take ibuprofen. I don't do that kind of stuff. My friend, who also is on the more natural, she gave me her magnesium glycinate, and it was a gummy. And also she had this like interesting like hook type tension thing. And I'll share that on my channel too, and I'll let you know what it is, Jen. I put that on my shoulders and stuff. Within 30 minutes, my headache was gone. And
see, I've taken the glycinator, and it didn't work. Maybe I didn't get the right kind. Maybe I didn't get a good brand. I thought it was a good brand.
I'll send you the one that I took on Saturday, because that one works.
All right, so I just wanted to introduce Karissa today because she's so knowledgeable. There's a reason why, but she can't talk about it. Um, Secrets.
Incognito.
Yeah. But trust me, the woman knows what she's talking about when it comes to medications. Okay. Um, so I just wanted to introduce her to this community. She is the admin for my show here. And she has been around for a very long time, and she is wonderful. Over there talking to Jesus and stuff, and most of the time accurate. And so she is coming up with some amazing products, some amazing recipes, and on her way to you know helping to change the world when it comes to that.
That's my
Um,
goal. My ultimate goal in the end is actually to create a school that we teach children how, one, truth, but how to not only be productive people in society, but actually know how to take care of themselves, grow their own food, preserve their own food, and be entrepreneurs. So by the time they graduate high school, they will already have a business started. They can choose to continue it, or they can choose to go to college. So be prepared for
that's so
both.
exciting. I love that. I love
That is
that.
my ultimate goal. And so this is the start of that. I'm trying to build that community so that, because it's going to take a village, it's going to take a community to build something like that. And so, and I understand that. And I also understand that God will put the right people like Jen in my life to make that come to fruition. Because ultimately, we should be able to raise children who, when they graduate high school, they can leave the nest and they don't have to come back. Now, again, I understand economy plays a big role in that, but could you imagine if we just started raising all these entrepreneurs? There would be no such thing as kid living in mama's basement or anything like that, right? I even had to go back home when back in 2008 when I had to live at home for a while. Like it's just unreal, and so that's my ultimate goal is to create that school, because I think you need to know what's important on what you're putting in your body and on your body, because that impacts everything. And if people don't realize, and I'll talk about this on my channel too, it's all spiritually connected. Just wait till you come to my channel. I'll explain to you how frequencies, everything has frequencies, everything. And they impact you at a soul perspective, at a spiritual perspective, whether you realize it or not, including your thoughts. And I have learned this from Jen, and I have done this. When you think it, and you speak it, you're one step away from creating it. And I have done this in my life in a positive way. If you remain positive, you will see things change. I kid you not. Like right now, I live in the mindset of abundance. I try never to think about lack. And because of that, I'm seeing stones be put in front of me to allow the things I want to do happen, even though I have no idea how financially they'll happen. But I'm already seeing God put stones in my path to say, this is coming. Don't worry about the money.
Well, you're definitely off on your soul purpose here. You've definitely stepped on that road or have been on it for a long time. I know a lot about that. It just doesn't seem like, it just seems like all these bits and pieces that don't really fit together. But then until you get to a place where everything comes full circle and you're like, oh, yeah, I see it now.
Yep.
So these are the kind of people.
And I talk about you on my show too, Jen. And like, you check her out, what your soul purpose
my
is.
Goodness.
Well, I don't know how. So I don't know how people, if you don't include God, if you don't have that connection and ability to talk, and you just don't have that trust. Because the thing too is, if you don't believe something's going to work, you've essentially told your soul to not let it work, because your soul, free will. So if you go, like for instance, if someone came to you that you really trusted, like was like a genius, and they said ibuprofen's not gonna, it's not gonna work, and you believed them, chances are it wouldn't work like people think it does.
Or the opposite of that with the placebo effect.
Yes, exactly. And that's why. I mean, it's again, it all goes back to the soul level. When you think something, so if you say, well, that's not going to work, or that is going to work, you're telling your soul, I want this to work, or I don't want this to work. So then your soul lets it happen accordingly. And I have seen it happen over and over again with myself, my family. I mean, not everybody is as like upbeat and, like I am. I'm like, some people are like, oh my gosh, make her stop. She's just too,
It's funny
too
because
up.
we're just getting back to the old ways, to the way it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, with naturals, everything in the earth to solve whatever problem it is. Being in the sun, getting exercise outside, working the land, walking barefoot. It's funny. Archangel Raphael told me one time, I said, what's some of the, he was asking about things that you can do to keep yourself young. And he said, walk barefoot. And I'm like, oh, is it about energies and stuff? It's like something deep, isn't it? He goes, no. I said, what is it about? He goes, people age more. One of the reasons that the people age more now is because everyone wears shoes. He
Mm-hmm.
said that on the bottoms of the feet, the uneven ground, things that rub on the bottom of your feet when you're walking on rocks or dirt or different textures, they stimulate a youth hormone.
Mm-hmm.
And people used to walk around barefoot all the time. And it kept them young. Not only the movement, but the massaging of underneath the feet and the pressure on that. So I'm like walking around outside barefoot. But my feet are so soft because I always have shoes on so the dogs don't step on my feet, because they will. They will. They'll step
Well,
on my
makes
feet if they
sense.
get hurt.
Look at Chinese, Japanese. They very much focus on feet. I mean, that's a daily
Oh, that's
ritual
right.
push. And you ever notice they always seem to have very young looking skin?
They do.
Yes, they do.
Sediments.
Because
I thought it was all the
people,
fish they ate and things like that.
well, I'm sure that that helps. But yes, the
Mm-hmm.
feet, people don't realize how important your feet are. We take our feet for granted. The feet can resolve pain. The feet can resolve, like you said, usefulness. It's just understanding what does our feet do. That's why you need to be careful. Don't just put your feet in anything either, because it's the biggest pores in your body. It'll absorb whatever you put your feet in. So if you're gonna go put your foot in something that has toxic chemicals in it because you think it's a good idea for whatever reason, you just absorb that into your body
Yeah, like when you're
faster than
cleaning
any
the
other
shower
place.
and you're just walking around barefoot and they're cleaning the
Yeah,
shower with all kinds of chemicals
yeah,
and stuff. Probably not a good
yeah.
idea. Um,
Or walking barefoot into a communal shower that who knows when.
oh my
Who
God, I
knows?
can't even. I can't even do it.
Nope.
I can't. I didn't care about anything like that. I was just so like didn't worry about germs at all, like most of my life. But now I'm just kind of like we went to the, I don't know, a couple years ago we went to the theme park and they had like the wave pool, and I'm like, okay, pool, waves, I'm good. In Idaho, I've got waves, I'm here. So
That's
then I
right.
look around, there's like 150 million people in there, and I'm thinking, this is a toilet. I mean, it's like a toilet, isn't it? And the little kid next to me walks by, and she's naked and her like pull-ups just floating by, and like I can't even do it. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah,
I'm
I have my
sorry.
limits too. I mean,
I hate
I'm
public restrooms. I mean, I will hold my breath the whole time that I'm in there.
so
The whole
with
time.
boosting his immune system, I'm a little less stressed. But here's the funny thing. So like, we were at the river yesterday, and both my kids and stuff like took like a gulp of the river water, and I was just like, well, I guess we'll be boosting your immune system tonight again and doing castor oil compress, because and maybe giving you a probiotic. So that's the thing too. So my son came out. He said his stomach hurt last night, and I was like, okay, you did take a big gulp of that water. Maybe a little more bacteria in your stomach than what you usually have. So I gave him a probiotic, and then I also did castor oil compress because if he was constipated, another thing, broke it up. Went to sleep after that. No more tummy issue, nothing. And those are the things. So when you come across things, I have solutions like, oh, if your kid's tummy hurts, give this
Oh,
before they
she
start.
does. She will text me for like years. Okay, Jen, this is what I want to do. This is what's happening with the kids, and this is what I want to do. What does Jesus say about that? I don't know. You're the expert. So then she started asking him about it, and she's like, "Yep, it worked out just right." She's always right, but then she'll text me and say, "What do you think about that?" And I'm like, "I don't know, woman. You're probably right. You're probably right.
Yeah,
Most
trust
usually
your
are."
gut.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm always preventing the what's going to potentially happen. So my brain's always connecting. Like, okay, you just drank a big thing of, river water, which I know this river's not that great. So you're probably increasing the bacteria in your stomach. You're probably going to end up with a stomach ache. So let's go ahead and get ahead of that. We'll give you an extra probiotic today, so we don't end up having, a few days later, mommy, I've got, diarrhea or something. Usually doesn't happen. No.
That's awesome. Wish you were around when my kids were little. All right, so you guys, I'm going to have to get to some questions. Let me see if we got any Rumble rants going on. I want to thank you so much for coming on today. We're going to have you on again.
Thank you for having me.
You can stick around while I do some of the readings, but we're over an hour now, and I just wanted to get to it. But I'm going to go. If you guys can start with your Rumble
I'll
rants
just go
if you'd
off
like.
screen. That's cool.
You can stick around if you'd want, or if you'd like to duck out now and get going, you can. But I was thinking maybe I'd look through and see if there were any questions for you.
Well, I'll just go off screen so you can do them.
Okay.
Well, I'll stick around. Okay, I can stick around if they have questions.
Okay. All right. So let's see if we have any questions for you. Gina says magnesium is best absorbed through the skin. I think so too, because I'm like, if Life Flow magnesium lotion, I could be like a spokesperson for them. I tell everybody to buy that. I mean, I've had it in my house for so many years, and the kids and I use it for everything. Everything that hurts, we put that on.
Yeah, I have
It's
that
amazing.
too. Yeah, you have muscle spasms, muscle cramps. Absolutely, magnesium on the skin, right over your muscle. That makes sense. Your skin is one of the other largest absorption organs in your body. So, yeah, that I use it.
Oh, Marcy's just talking about you can get pure castor oil through the Edgar Casey site. Yeah, what do we need to know about the castor oil that we buy? I mean, is there any kind that's better than another?
Make sure it's organic, cold pressed, and it needs to be in an amber bottle, and it has to be what's the something hype. Marcy maybe can help me out here. I can't think. It has to be hexane free. It needs to be hexane free in a glass bottle. Definitely glass bottle, because castor oil breaks down everything, including plastic. So if it's in a plastic bottle, it's already breaking down the plastic as soon as it's in there. So you have microplastics in your castor oil. Plus, your bottle will always be leaking if it's in a plastic. Why? Because it's breaking down the plastic. So
I have to look at mine now because it's in a clear bottle with a label on it. I did get it from the health food store, but it's not in a dark bottle. I think it's plastic. I'm throwing it away.
Yeah, amber, glass, organic, cold pressed, and hexane free.
Okay, so somebody's asking how much do you sell your home remedies for, or home remedies book for? You can go to the website and find out. But you go ahead and tell them if you want.
Yep, and like I said, if I do an update, you get so many downloads, so you don't have to rebuy it. If I update it, put better recipes on there, cheaper recipes. Again, I'm always looking to improve it from a health perspective, efficiency perspective, and a cost perspective. This is a working mama. I don't have glorious, endless funds that I can just keep throwing at things. So I'm always
somebody just said all those things that you were saying about the castor oil, purchasing it. What the hell is it? There we go. In case anybody wants to write that down. Well, I think I'm going to have to get the patches now. I just have to find out what is in them. Do you know what's in the patches?
So there's no chemicals. It's crystals. So, okay, I'll give you an example. If you take an amethyst crystal, you put it in some water, you put it out in the sun's rays hits that crystal. It's the frequencies. That crystal changes the frequency in the water and creates a natural melatonin. So you can drink amethyst water and it'll help you sleep at night. That's what people don't understand. When I say frequencies are in everything, God made this planet to function on frequencies. They have things called Rife machines that they can adjust frequencies to help kill bacteria, kill fungus, do all these things. The problem is they're very complicated. You know, you got to know the settings, you got to do all that stuff. This patch, we basically figured out how to do it in a patch.
So it's crystals.
Crystals, organic
That's
crystals.
it? I thought it was like, I don't know, different herbs and a combination of that. So it's just crystals?
It's just crystals. It's organic crystals, certain ones in certain structures, because how that frequency hits those crystals dictates how it's changed and put back into your body, which then dictates the signal that goes to your brain to tell your body what to do.
That's interesting.
So remember,
with me with crystals, go ahead.
Oh, well, you know how we've talked about med beds? I think this is the first step to getting the newbies to understanding how frequencies can heal you. How do you get newbies?
You tell me that. I know.
To understand.
I just didn't realize that was crystals in there. I thought it was some kind of combination of herbs or something.
I honestly think he's a white hat. I think he's a white hat because there's no way this guy could get this out without his patents being destroyed, because he will destroy the pharmaceutical industry.
All right, now I have to get some. All right. Well, I will think about that.
I think he's a white hat.
Huh?
And trusting, how do we get people to trust these things? It's like, how do you get people who are so embedded in the medical industry to trust? We'll start small. Have a patch, and then they go, you know what? That did work. And that was only crystals. So maybe there is something to this frequency thing. So when they bring out med beds, which is the full-blown frequency function, it's not new to them. They've heard it before. Phototherapy.
See, that's what I thought med beds were about. That's what I've been talking about. Let's become our own med bed, and let's raise our vibration, get rid of the dark energy, and replace it with the high vibrational light, and give our bodies the fuel it needs to heal itself. And so I thought that that's what they have figured out how to do, is to concentrate or the seventh element, which is the element of creation in everything, accelerate that to a very high vibrational place, put it into the body, and then healing happens at a rapid pace according to your DNA code or the code that's in your energy field for this lifetime. Do you know how many people are going to change the world?
Right, and it's the same concept. Because if you don't think it's going to work, it's going to be an amazing world with that kind of enough people have that kind of mindset.
I'm all excited about it.
We're not going to see negativity anymore.
Well, it'll still be there. I mean, we're still going to have emotions. Things are still going to go wrong. We're still going to get our heart broken. Stuff like that's going to happen. But it's gotten to a place where it's there's too much, and we've been programmed to believe that we need a reason to be happy. When I was growing up, you needed a reason to be upset. Like, what's wrong with you? What happened? Who died? Why are you upset? Now everybody's upset all the time, unless they've got a good reason to be happy. They're trying to destroy us from within.
Right. I mean, I grew up with this saying from my parents, I'll give you a reason to be upset. You can't tell me. Okay, maybe I'm not upset.
Like, I had these 4 best friends. It was like Anne, Steph, Linda, and Nicole. And like, if something happened to us, we'd always show up at each other's houses. Hello. And like, um, if one of us was like really depressed, or something, we'd ask like, "What's wrong with you? Did you break up with somebody? Did somebody die? You know, what's wrong with you? Oh no, I'm just, get throw in the shower, get her dressed up. We're going out. We're gonna.
Yeah.
That's unacceptable. Like, and
Yeah.
usually by the end of the evening, she's happy. Whoever it was, it's just I think that's what I've noticed is that the movies, the music, everything is so dark and negative, and even the color. Like I noticed it first with the what was the vampire series? What was that called? Remember?
Oh, yep. Twilight?
Twilight.
Or,
And
yeah.
I'm like, does anybody see how gray this movie is? I mean, the dark, depressing colors of this movie, and the music, and the sounds, and the scenes, and then all the little kids are like, oh, team, whatever, like I'm like, this is terrible. I am so upset. And then the Hunger Games came out and just blew me out of the water. I started writing my I'm like, I'm finishing my children's series right now because this is unacceptable. I'm just so pissed
Yeah.
off.
No,
And
that's what we raise our kids in right now. Like screen time. People don't realize how much screen time impacts your kids, and that's because of all the negativity they're putting out there. Even in a movie that you would think shouldn't have any reason to have negativity or some kind of, it does. They're finding you can't just find a good old funny movie anymore. Like trying
I
to find
know.
a good old slapstick funny comedy, so hard. Raising kids today, like my kids, they're only allowed so many hours a week. Like 3 hours a week is what they're supposed to be on for TV. Summertime, I've allowed them a little bit, but I can tell you, my middle kid, total change in his attitude when he's had too much, and I cut him off. I'm like, "You're done with TV."
My mother.
And then he gets better, and he's happier, and he's not.
Totally. Yeah, my mother, when we were growing up, TV was for nighttime, rainy days, or Saturday morning until the cartoons are over. And then you're out. Get out. Go outside. Go figure out something to do. We're out making forts and, just running around the neighborhood with everybody else. And we were happy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
Yeah,
telling you,
the
if
best
the
thing.
shit hit the fan, the people like me who had to go out, like, and all the kids in the neighborhood are off in somebody's field trying to figure out something to do, playing war and making forts, and like, okay, how are we going to make shelter right now? I mean, we know how to survive. We know what to do. And you can tell them. You can tell, like over the years when the kids are growing up, the other people's parents, like some of them just like had everything done for them. They called in a service person for everything. They bought everything, and ever so often I come across a mom and she's got something all rigged up with wire and duct tape and, and just like, kids are running around with bowls on their heads and stuff. I'm like, you're my kind of people. You and me. Yep. We're going to, we're going to hang out.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Like we'll figure anything out. And it's like, we need to get back to that place where we spend more time outside, and it sucks up here in Idaho, a place where it's like gray or cold 8 months out of the year. But my kids were always outside too. I used to have to fight to get them inside when the sun was going down.
That's why they had that commercial on. Do you know we were kids at 10 p.m. at night? They had to remind the parents, oh wait, you have kids. Make sure they're in the house by now. They don't have to do that anymore.
I had to be home by sundown.
Well, so did we.
I always knew where my kids were because I was like, nobody talked about it then, but because I was widowed, everybody says, "Oh, you're overprotective," just like this one chick, the girl's friend, Abby, her mom, Heidi, she was just so mean to me. She's like, "Oh, you're so overprotective. Why don't you just let them go and just run around the neighborhood?" I'm like, somebody will take them. Somebody will take them. It's like I just knew. And I look at her kids. They've got a cast on, at least one arm, and a leg. Fall. They're all broken. I'm just like, okay. They can be free enough, but somehow I felt like if I let them go running all over the town at that day and age, somebody would take them.
Right.
Um, but when I was growing up, we had horses, and so we'd take off and just ride anywhere into town, through the elementary school. I mean, we'd go everywhere on the horse, and I'm like, Mom. And when I had kids, I was like, Mom, how did you even let us do that? I mean, no cell phone, no nothing. She goes, because I knew the horse would come keep you safe. It would run away from any kind of danger or strangers. And she goes, and I knew that it would be home when it's time to eat, right before the sun goes down. And
Hmm.
if it came home without you, that's when I'll worry. I'm like, God, you're so brave. I mean, but that was the truth. That's what we did.
Yeah, no,
Um,
same here. But now, even just trying to get play dates, I'm like, is it me? Like, am I that weird? Am I that weird mom that other moms are like,
yeah, you are.
she's that organic, like she's too much of that, like. But yeah, trying to get play dates. It's like nobody spends the night in anyone's house anymore, which I get because knowing what we know today, you just don't know who you can trust. Um,
Yeah, I
but
totally probably did everything wrong.
yeah,
You're
no, I'm
much
just like,
better than
well,
I.
whatever. If I'm gonna be that weird mom, I don't care. I care that my kids are healthy, my kids are safe, they're growing just
I
fine.
wish I would have known more about everything with the chemicals and everything done. You know, like I was the fun mom. Like everybody else is bringing like apples to the Girl Scout meeting, and it's my turn to. I walk in with a million, little Debbie's,
No,
and
bad though, because we all didn't know,
made
right?
cookies. You know,
I guarantee you, 2020 was truly an awakening year for a
I think
lot of
so.
people. A lot of people, even people who aren't
Yeah,
in the medical industry, they're like, something just doesn't smell right, right? So I wouldn't feel bad. I mean, I'm not perfect. I do let my kids splurge, but here I will tell you this: you raise your kids like this, parents, they will start to monitor themselves. My daughter, if she has, like, for instance, we for the first time this summer we had a s'more, and then that night she did not feel good, and I was like, "What'd you eat today?" I had a s'more. Ugh, too much sugar. I guess I won't have any tomorrow. Can I have a
when you're not
cappuccino
used to
instead?
it, you feel bad when you eat it again.
Yeah.
Like when I'm on low carb, like without cheating. Um, Yeah, I'm just like, and like, so I'll go for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then I'll take a couple days off because your body adjusts and gets used to that amount
Mhm.
of carbs. So
Mhm.
then I take 2 days off for cheat days, and I'm just like, ugh. When I eat bread or anything sugary, I'm just like, ugh, I feel like crap now.
Yeah, you are your best doctor. When you start to learn to listen to your body, um, here's a trick. If you want to stop with the sinuses and nasal, like if you want that to go away and almost never happen, breathe through your nose 24/7 if you can. I started breathing through my nose almost 2 years now, and I always get sinus infections August every year like clockwork. Okay, breathe through your nose. Here's why: your nose has the filters, has the right humidity, has the right temperature. Your God made our noses to make the oxygen the perfect level to go into our lungs. The nose hairs blocks anything that's not supposed to go into your nose. On top of that, when you breathe out, it's the right nitric oxide, it's the right everything. So I don't get stuffy noses anymore. I don't, that doesn't happen. If I start to feel any pressure, first of all, I'll start to clear my throat and go, oh, I'm eating stuff I'm not supposed to eat because I'm already getting the drainage, which means I'm putting stuff in my body that's saying, not supposed to have that. So I try to figure out what it is, back off. But for the most part, breathe through my nose 24/7. I have not had a stuffy nose. I have not had sinus infections. And it all just changed from breathing through my nose.
That's interesting. I think like I also another thing is that like where I grew up, somebody was saying she used to climb eucalyptus trees. Yeah, the area that I grew up as a kid was called Eucalyptus Hills in Lakeside, California. And over the years, a lot of them have died off because of some beetle, but that was after I moved.
Mhm.
But like they were just everywhere. It just smelled like eucalyptus everywhere. You just had it on you. You're climbing trees. You got eucalyptus all. I never had any allergies my whole life until I came up to Idaho. Um, and until I was indoors a lot.
Yeah.
The only other time I was indoors before was, with the kids, but like when I was working, you start working um, too much and you're indoors all the time, fluorescent lighting. Back then, I hate fluorescent lighting. It bothers me so bad. Not like freak out, weird, be weird in the store bad, but just like
Hmm.
I feel annoyed, like
Hmm.
annoyed by it. So many things that have changed about our society over the last, I don't know, 25 years or
Yeah.
more. Um,
Right. And it's all gone for the negative. Like,
I
like,
noticed it all along the way in the programming, the mental and the emotional. So you're all about take like physical health. I'm all about the mental and the emotional and the spiritual health. I saw it step by step by step. Didn't say anything to a lot of people, but I'm like, I don't like that. What are they doing? Why is this so dark? And then you started actually having movies that had unhappy endings. I'm like,
yeah.
where is my happy ending? I need one. I need one after that. And then we have COVID, and then it's socially acceptable to avoid other human beings. We don't even want to talk to them. You don't want to answer the
Yeah.
phone. Leave the food at the door.
Yeah.
Still,
I
I don't
know.
want to interact with anybody. I'm a very social person. I always have been. I have no problem. I'll just call you, and
Yep.
I'll
Same
talk to
here.
people face to face. I don't care. I've never been a germaphobe. I mean, I have no problem with that. But the side effect of the entire COVID time was that they taught people that being antisocial is cool,
Yeah.
the way you should be. Learn, and then where does that go from there? Hate people, hate others.
Hmm.
Others are annoying. Others are bad. Others are dirty. Others are going to make you sick. And so I see the underlying programming with through the whole time, the whole time. It's one of the reasons I started writing my children's series back in 2008, because I just saw that the children's literature was so dark and negative and taken the Harry Potter series. I was all pissed off. We start out cute and sweet, fun, and I never liked witches and all that witchcraft stuff ever in my entire life. Something about it. Okay. Didn't know a lot about it. I just knew that I didn't like that.
Hmm.
But I was like, okay, cute. We'd always go to the movies for the Disney movies or the Harry Potters that came out. And so then it got really with these Death Eater things. I'm like, demon.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we've got demons in the children's story. Great. And it just got darker and darker and darker, and they always do that. They lure you in with some fun, wholesome story. And then they make it really dark and they teach the children um to like it.
Hmm. I know. That's why, I mean, being a parent today is so hard. It's so hard because, I mean, parents used to be able to at least trust something, right? Okay, you can watch Sesame Street or something like that. Parents today, especially of young kids, you question everything. Like, I don't know about that. Oh, I love it. I have my
Yeah, it would
kids.
be hard.
Yeah, I have my kids like saying, to other people. Yeah, those Doritos, those are toxic. Okay, come on, let's go. This is maybe why you don't have as many friends.
The only thing that's happening with you and your kids is you're ahead of your time, because there's a huge holistic and natural shift going on right now. There's a huge spiritual shift. This is where we're
Mhm.
going. More and more in the public eye is going to be revealed about the dangers of this and that, and everybody's they're tired of the side effects, they're tired of the chemicals, they're tired of everybody dying, they're tired of everybody getting dementia. Have you ever Does anybody wonder why everybody has dementia? I was talking to Jesus today. and I was doing a medical reading on somebody, and and don't quote me on it. This is psychic information from the foo psychic lady. Okay, nobody like come after me, big pharma. Anyway, so I got that one of the reasons that so many people are getting not Alzheimer's but dementia early on is because of statins for
Yeah,
cholesterol.
I can explain
And
that to you.
cholesterol is needed for brain health and fun. Am I right? Oh my god. I got that today.
I'll tell you exactly how.
That's
So
awesome.
everyone thinks that cholesterol is horrible. It's a big bad guy. No, actually, it's not. Cholesterol actually does it saves your life. First of all, the myelin in the brain is it 25%? 25% or more. It's made of cholesterol. So the myelin in your brain, you are not giving it enough cholesterol. People think, oh, cholesterol clogs your arteries. No, here's what happens. You eat sugar, the processed sugar pokes a hole in your arteries. The cholesterol, the bad cholesterol, goes in and plugs that hole until you fix whatever is causing the problem. Then the good cholesterol comes in and clears out the bad cholesterol once the issue's solved. But now
Now,
we
is
don't
this
have
all sugar or is this just white refined sugar? Is this anything that turns to sugar in your system?
so I'm gonna definitely processed sugars. So processed sugars, stay away from. Try to go. So I always say go towards if you need something sweet, go towards honey. So I usually use raw, local, organic honey, pure maple syrup. You can get organic cane sugar. It's a little more expensive, but you can get it if you really like to bake and just want to stay from. But honestly, you can make almost anything with beet sugar, with with honey, with maple syrup. I mean, I've switched those out in my recipes so that you can make them. You can, and they're starting to make more snacks now. With I'll do cane sugar. I will not do corn syrup. Please, for the love of God, do not buy things with corn syrup.
I don't use corn syrup, but I try
Yeah,
not to buy things with corn syrup. But it's in everything.
but
But
yeah, that's the issue. It's the sugar pokes the hole in your arteries. The bad cholesterol plugs that hole because if it didn't, you'd be having blood go outside your arteries. um, and then the good cholesterol, once the issue's resolved and it's healed, sweeps up and clears out. But the problem is people keep introducing the thing that's causing the problem, right? So again, I know it's hard. You can't just get rid of sugar because it's in everything. It is. They put it in everything now.
well,
So then that's why
I started
moderate.
buying for when I do bake something, just the natural cane sugar, and then I got
Yep.
the it's King Arthur um non-GMO wheat.
Yep.
I
Yep.
like my stomach has such a problem with the GMO wheat bread and corn syrup just kills my stomach. It's just um
I'm not even sure corn syrup's real sugar. You actually break it down.
huh?
I'm not even sure corn syrup is actual sugar. I'm not sure there's actually sugar in corn syrup when you actually start to break it down.
Well, isn't it made from corn or is that a lie too?
I haven't gone down. I haven't dived
Is it
down to
like
that level, but
oh
I know the effects because I know statins. I actually got my mom off statins. So 2 years ago, I noticed my mom. She reads a lot, and she was having a lot of remembering and she's like issues. And I was like, Mom, are you? What are you on? And she's like, Well, I'm on this. And then she says statins. I'm like, You're on a statin.
happened to
Get
my
off of
mom?
it. I said, Get off it. She got off of it. Her brain fog and her memory was perfectly fine 3 days later. She was back to firing
My
on all.
mother was on no medications whatsoever, healthy as a horse. One of the smartest women I've ever known in my life, and just like God, I can never remember the woman's name, but she's like a combination of Julie Andrews and Princess Leia's mother. What's her name? I always forget it.
I can't think of it.
Clearly, I need something for memory. Anyway, so Debbie Reynolds. So my
Oh,
mother, like, she just shines like a beam of light in the sun. The most smartest woman I've ever known. Selfless, um, funny as hell, creative. She'd do anything. I mean, she can do anything. Stands up for herself. So then COVID comes around, and my stepfather convinces her to get 4 vaccines. And I got her after the first one. I'm like, Mom, please don't take any more vaccines. I mean, like, have you ever in your life, be logical, have you ever in your life had to take any so fast? And she's like, yes, but we're having a vaccine luncheon afterwards. And I'm like, oh, okay, we'll just dive in. So then after she had the 4 vaccines, now she's got high blood pressure. Okay. Then she goes to the doctor. They put her on statins for cholesterol. And all this medications. I think she's cut off of the high blood pressure, which I think was just anxiety. But now she's got this dementia. It's like she can't remember. And my Nana got that, but like at 96. My mom's like 77. The women in my family live a long time. We are hardy people, man. I mean, on both sides. My grandmothers one lived to 100 and a half, and the other one to 98. There's no reason why she should be that way right now. It's because of all the medication. She was never on any medications at all up until 72? When she started taking the vaccines.
Yeah. So I've actually reversed my mom. She doesn't take the medications. The only medication she's on at this point is her thyroid. So I'm working on getting her thyroid to where she won't be on that anymore. She's not on anything else. Everything that she was on, I love, because of what I do, I have to constantly be researching. My job, you never get to just learn your job and get to do it for 30 years. It's always changing. So I'm always having to research and figure out, okay, what's new now. So that's just naturally what I do. So I love to research. So when my parents came, I'm like, okay, I'm getting you off of all this crap. Just give me time. And I just went at it. And now they don't take pain other than my dad. My mom isn't taking pain meds. She doesn't take any of her other medications. Her doctors weren't happy, but she's fine. I mean, 300 was normal back in the 60s for your cholesterol.
After Bill died and I was 34, I went to the doctor to check everything so that everybody knew I was okay, and just so the kids knew. So I get in there and they test my blood and they're like, well, you're borderline high on your cholesterol. We'd like you to take this medication. I'm like, I'm not taking that. So this is me. I'm fine. All right. So so then I leave and I go look up the charts. I'm like, you know what? I don't trust her. I think I get a bonus vibe here from, you're going to get some kind of bonus for prescribing this medication to a lot of people. I just knew that. So I went and I looked it up and the charts had changed.
Yeah.
What was borderline, what was high cholesterol had changed from earlier years. Why is that?
No, because they needed to have something to sell the statins for.
So that they could sell to more people. Do you know that I took Faith into the doctor? It was a well visit, and I didn't know anything about vaccines back then, but I figured I only let them have the ones that I had when I was a kid, and I survived. So, they were fine. So I went, I didn't know anything. The doctor pricks her finger and tests her cholesterol at 12 years old. Her cholesterol is high. I just lost. I'm like, well, she lives on cereal and cheese, and that one's on the brat diet. Don't even test that one because it's going to be through the roof. I said, isn't it the building blocks when they're growing? Cholesterol? I mean, I'm like, what are you trying to pull here? And she looks so ashamed of herself. I'm like, 12 years old? You're kidding me. Was she going to have a heart attack? She's brand new. Such a helicopter mom.
No, we're not helicopter moms. We're intuitive moms.
I don't care. I'll do it in such a way that it doesn't embarrass anybody, but I'll be like, I'd like to talk to you in the corner for just a second. Come on over here. With the school school.
Oh, you're much nicer than me. I don't mind embarrassing people.
Oh, I
I'm
will.
just
I'll
like
be
straight
diplomatic
up.
about it. Can I talk to you just a second over here? In private. But like Katie had a problem with some guy that kept trying to touch her like sexually at school and in high school. And I went in, and of course they have police officers in the high schools now. And I'm like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's scary. So like I go in there and I sit in there, and not doctor, but Officer Rios, and I'm talking to him about it. And he's basically just like, well, this happens, and yes, we take it seriously. But I said, listen, bud, I have walked through hell to make sure that these children, every moment of every freaking day, stay alive and are well and are going to move forward in life and be okay. Now, do we have a problem? And I just stared him down. I said, I want to know from you if you're going to handle this situation. I don't give a crap who you are. If you're a cop, if you have a gun on your hip, I don't give a shit. You better tell me that everything's going to be okay with my daughter in the school. I'm going to pull her out, and I'm going to be down here every day checking up on you to make sure that you do your job. And he's like, well, Katie, you have a helicopter, Mom. And I see him around town every once in a while, and he's like, your mom's awesome, Katie. I'm around with these kids. I'm serious. I have stayed sober, and I have every moment of every day done everything I possibly could, learned how to make a living, so to make sure, and I'm not going to have some loser kid who can't keep his hands to himself screw up
I
her
think
education. So, like, that's how I was with people that were trying to pull this stuff in the pediatrician's office and trying to give them medications and all kinds of stuff. They don't have any conditions. I never had any conditions. Everybody's fine.
mm-hmm.
Waiting to get back to the old way where everybody's outside more, and we're eating things off the tree outside and
Yep.
growing it in the yard. And you're right. I mean, we need to get back to the natural way. Um, it's just
It's
so
like baby
hard in
steps.
today's society because everything that we use has chemicals in it. So that's a big
And that's
job
what I
for
hope
the
my
world.
channel will do. Yes,
Yes.
and that's what I'm hoping my channel will do. It helps gives baby steps. You know, you don't have to do everything at once. You don't have to start a garden and throw all the over-counter medications off. You know, I did start all at once. I started with over-counter medications, got rid of them, and figured out the alternatives first. So that's what my channel is. It's like, eat this elephant one bite at a time, whatever you're comfortable with. Because no matter what, whatever you change, you are one step better than you were a day ago. And you're just going to help improve slowly. And it just becomes natural to you at some point. You're just like, oh, no, that doesn't seem right. Uh, I think I'm getting summoned by my kiddos because
Yeah, I
like,
gotta get
Mom, we're
going too.
supposed to be in bed. Where's our kids?
I didn't get any. I didn't get any rumble rants. So not a normal show. Sometimes I will have guests on. I will do another show this week for questions, and we will have another exercise for God-centered conscious creation. I want to thank you, Karissa, for coming on with us.
Well, thank you
It's
for having
always a
me.
pleasure. And let me know. I will go. Everybody go and subscribe to her YouTube channel, Busy Bee Natural Remedies on YouTube, and let's get those numbers up. Okay?
Thank you so much.
And go to the website and check out her book, get her book. And you'll have your own recipes right there. All right?
All right. Have a good night,
Thank you
Jen.
so
Thank you
much.
so much.
Thank you so much. Everyone, have a lovely evening, and we will see you next time.